Y'all got the blues of losing money and other investments? Head off to Nashville where we can make some killer capital in all of the new infrastructure and new construction that's happening in Nashville, Tennessee right now.
Welcome to another edition of Hot Markets, where we bring you the hottest real estate markets around the globe. Hot Markets is sponsored by the Spalia Group, where we believe in sustainable real estate investment. Whether you are a beginner real estate investor or a more advanced one with a multi-state, multi-asset portfolio, we talk about risk mitigation and profit maximization of a portfolio of real estate. Reach out to us, leave us an email, send us a message, or send us a text and tell us what's your question about your real estate portfolio that you have. And we would love to speak with you. Okay, without further ado, let's talk about this week's hot market.
All right, so we're going down to Nashville. And how about I just kick it off? We're just talking about the prices. Now, Nashville, it's one of the hottest, fastest growing markets, Tennessee in general. Nashville is the flagship city that's really on fire.
So I'll tell you right now, if you have a house in Nashville and you bought in the last couple of years, you probably made $200,000 to $300,000 on your house in the last couple of years in Nashville. So you've grown so much in equity, and we only see that potential growth to continue with all of the new construction that's taking place in Nashville right now. You've got high-end residential. There's probably I think it's 2,000 or 3,000 units that are being built right now in Nashville. Yeah. So there's a ton of growth coming into Nashville that haven't even been constructed yet, that are under construction or in the proposal phase. So if you've made money in Nashville, one, I would hold, and two, if you haven't gotten into Nashville yet, it's definitely something that I would get into.
Yeah, there's still people coming in. It's a rate of about 80 people per day moving to Nashville. Primarily that's coming from the New York market and also the San Francisco area. So there's a lot of money and a lot of capital coming into it. Amazon's developing a warehouse there that's going to house a lot of people. It's about 5,000 jobs, and you got a lot going on in Nashville right now.
Yeah, there's I see 9 huge projects that I noted. Like you mentioned, Amazon, also Oracle, also Facebook, huge data centers. Vanderbilt University has reconstruction in 2 huge aspects, like their medical school and all that. And then you got the Central Water Treatment Plant, you got Four Seasons Hotel, you got the airport, you got basically everything's being worked on there.
Nashville is one of those cities that's never going to lose its charm. So you've got Broadway, which is always going to be continually rebuilding and upgrading. So what we've seen over the last couple of years is all of those old school restaurants and bars on Broadway have revamped to become more tourist friendly. And then we also see the whole city expanding. So look at areas like the Gulch. That area didn't exist, let's say 10 years ago, 15 years ago. And what Nashville is doing is taking the expanding areas outside of the downtown Nashville and building up. So we've got the Gulch, which is all high-end residential, all new, amazing restaurants, all new, amazing shopping centers. So it's a great spot to invest in and to hold that money and hold that capital, with more Airbnbs coming in, more short-term rentals coming in. And Nashville is one of those hotspots that's always going to be the number one for bachelorette parties and bachelor parties. Everybody's going to Nashville because you've got the music scene, because you've got the nightlife and the entertainment. So it is always going to be up and up. And right now you can get into Nashville for a lot less than you can get into a lot of the other markets, because you're still at the $200,000, $300,000 mark. So it's a great spot to invest that money and know that you're going to build that capital over time.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you hit the nail on the head when you're talking about these outside communities kind of, converging into the downtown, expanding as well. I think people tend to forget Nashville is a very segregated city.
Yeah.
Historically, with the separation of, the whites and blacks with the 40s and things like that. Now it's coming together. and you're getting these cultural mixes everywhere. Places like the Gulch, like you hit the nail on the head, it never existed. So now with gentrification of these areas, you're seeing the prices skyrocket, and you can kind of expand out kind of on the fringes of the city itself and still get a great return on your investment.
Well, there's that huge development going on in Germantown too. So there's a ton of money being built up that's expanding that whole city. And they're redoing that whole riverfront plaza. So what you're going to see too is you're not just having that downtown, that Broadway approach where people are coming in just to go to the country bars, to go to the music scene. They're going to come in for family experiences. It's not going to just be the bar scene. It's going to be this whole family experience. And that's what's going to draw people into Nashville.
Yeah, and you're seeing a lot of New York hospitality groups, San Francisco hospitality groups kind of developing the area. So you have 3 major sports teams there as well. So you're going to have the downtown infrastructure that's always going to be busy throughout the various sports seasons. You got like the Ryman Auditorium, you got the Grand Ole Opry. So there's always something going on in Nashville. I think there's something like, basically an event for every day of the year there. So you're going to end up with the influx of people. One thing about Nashville as well is it's actually the highest price per night average on hotel rooms in the country. So you're averaging about $450 to $470 a night. So the Airbnb market there is crazy. You can clear $100,000+ a year Airbnb.
But you got to remember, a lot of these hotels are new, so they have to return their money. So they're going to be higher for an extended period of time. A lot of the downtown hotels are all brand new, and if they haven't been built, they're being built by 2023 to 2024. So they're all going to be returning. And you've got a ton of money going into new construction and the sustainability approach because they are changing the building codes. Currently, they're adopting the 2021 codes. So you see a lot more garden roofs. You see a lot more amenity decks. You see a lot more of these rooftop plazas. I mean, we stayed in this beautiful boutique hotel downtown Nashville, rooftop plaza. You see that all over the place. A lot less of these chains, a lot more boutiques coming in. And that is going to raise the price of those hotels nightly. So that's increasing that luxury market in Nashville. Nashville is just on the up and up. It's growing and expanding, and it's no longer that rural old city that we kind of always knew Nashville to be. It's becoming that next luxury hotspot that I think is going to be a great spot to invest.
Let's talk about the tax advantages. There is no individual income tax, but there is corporate estate tax. But there is other tax advantages too. Certain counties have tax benefits. There's also this Greenbelt law that tries to protect the agricultural areas and have a tax advantage for that. So there's a lot of tax advantages. Plus the sales tax and property tax is in the mid-range. And as far as there's no estate tax, just like it's one of those no estate tax states as well.
What do you guys think? Would Nashville as a city in Tennessee be a spot that you think would be a good investment of our money?
Well, absolutely. I mean, it's the Vegas to the east, essentially. So you're getting most of those people, like you were saying, bachelorette parties, things like that. You're always gonna. It's another one of those cities, like in the NFL market, where the way teams actually travel, that's the game of the year that they end up picking to go to. So it's always booming downtown. It's no longer just a country music hotspot either. Jack White developed like the whole downtown with Third Man Records. So you're getting a lot more opportunities in different genres of music. So you're getting a lot more fans. So you're always going to have this Airbnb market there. So I think that's kind of what you're going to target more so, or kind of a downtown condo. But single family homes, if you're on the outskirts of the city, can still return greatly.
You gotta remember, in like real world, we all know somebody that's been in Nashville in the last couple of years, or that is going to Nashville this year or next year. It's on everybody's mind. Everybody's talking about Nashville. It is one of the hottest markets right now, and it is driving more and more tourism and more businesses to flock to Nashville. It's only going to grow. So I think it's a perfect spot to get in while the price, yes, the prices have risen 30-40% in the last couple of years because we saw such a drastic increase in Nashville, but it's only going to continually rise. So I still think it's a great spot to invest into.
Absolutely, and I think there's still value in some of these older neighborhoods and pockets that are going to get developed.
And Nashville's great because there's a ton of historical relevance still. So there's a ton of history in Nashville and a lot of, like you said, Facebook's, Amazon's, all this new industry going into Nashville too.
Yeah.
So it's a really beautiful blend of history and innovation.
There's also a buildup in the healthcare sector, and we can get exposure to the real estate market through the REITs, the Real Estate Investment Trust. There's actually 8 real estate investment trusts headquartered in Nashville area. See many risks except the fact that there is talk about like the crime is a little bit high in certain places.
Between Broadway and Bourbon Street, Broadway's a way safer community, Nashville's a way safer city. So there are, like, I think Nashville's being built up, and I've been in Broadway recently. It is so much more built up than it ever historically was that I felt extremely safe being in Nashville. I never felt uncomfortable, but because, like Jorel said, it's so centered in one area, there are some outskirt areas that get dark, and, you know, just be safe at night. That's the bottom line in any major.
What's your favorite investment?
I think getting into a commercial space, a mixed-use space, even getting a commercial building might be a really good benefit because you're going to get businesses that come in, and you're going, even if you had, you know, residential as part of that building, you're going to rent out those spaces. You know, like I said, there's 3,000 at least residential units being built right now.
Yeah.
People are moving and they are building up the buildings for people to move into.
And you got to think, like, business now is different than it was 20 years ago. Like, the breweries, distilleries, things like that, that's a big part. Drinking's a big part of Nashville's culture. That these warehouse spaces and these mixed-use spaces, you can actually find occupants for now.
Right.
It's no longer like, oh, I got this bolt factory, I got one route to use it. Now you can use it as music venues, you can use them as hospitality venues. You know, businesses are going into them as art spaces. You're seeing that kind of culturally around the United States right now. So it's, you know, it's definitely one of those things where you can definitely get in commercial. Any single family homes you're gonna make money on as well, so it doesn't really matter. I mean, it's just kind of put as much money as you want into different parts of the city and you're gonna return on it right now. It's gonna grow.
I think there's also a reach in Nashville of growth. It's not just downtown. Like I said, it's expanding out, and it's kind of like a spider web. Right. As you reach out of Nashville, the entire surrounding area, because the city's growing and you're getting high-rises being built, you're getting hotels being built, you're getting all of these downtown entities being built, the entire surrounding area is going to be built up. So that will include building up new single-home family residential buildings, neighborhoods, developments, whatever it may be. And I think even if you invest in the land, right, like, you're gonna return on that as the city expands out. You're gonna grow out of, you know, 30 miles outside of Nashville. That's gonna be kind of the bigger circle going into long term.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And what we see too in Nashville, this is the interesting thing out of Tennessee. Tennessee has always been a lot of agriculture land, and we see that in a lot of other states too, especially in the middle U.S. and some of these more rural spots. You have a lot of agriculture land, a lot of it is aged out, so that means that it was, you know, your grandfather's land, your father's land, whatever it may be, and now people aren't getting into agriculture the way that they used to, and that land is so valuable that is being sold to a lot of developers across, like, what's a bearding? So it's being sold to a lot of developers, and that land's all being developed into either mixed-use commercial or residential.
All right. So, how many stars?
I mean, I'm going to give Nashville 5 out of 5 because I think it's a great place to invest right now.
Yeah, I think, like you said, I think just as much money as you want to put into it, you're going to return on. You got, especially Airbnb routes, you do $350 a night, rent that five times a week, you're making $91,000 a year. Like, that's a pretty good rate.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I give it 5 out of 5 also.
Thank you all for tuning in.
Thank you again for watching another edition of Hot Markets, where we bring you the hottest real estate markets around the globe, sponsored by the Spalia Group, where we believe in sustainable real estate investment. We specialize in risk mitigation and profit maximization of a real estate portfolio. So whether you're a new real estate investor or a more advanced one, we would love to talk to you. It's a free consultation. There's the number, there's the email. We look forward to speaking with you soon, and we look forward to seeing you on another episode of Hot Markets.